Another month, another digest, where I rank all the movies, TV shows, games, and any other type of media that I finished last month, as well as announcing the randomly selected things I'll be watching next month as suggested by you guys at EliteAri.com. My September was incredibly busy, so I only got to watch a handful of things. The first of those was Polite Society, a movie about two sisters, an art school dropout and an aspiring stunt woman who were each trying to find their path forward in life. Shenanigans ensue, and the result is essentially a quirky satirical action comedy that completely fails at being remotely funny. The themes are serviceable, the plot is okay, and the over-exaggerated action was fun at a few points. Though on that point, it really did feel like they didn't quite have enough skill or maybe budget to produce the level of over-exaggerated action that it seemed that they were going for. It kind of felt like they were shooting for everything everywhere all at once and landed around 20% of the way there. But who cares about all that? It's all pointless anyway, because this was a terrible experience of a movie. Pretty much every single joke and funny scene just fell completely flat for me. I don't quite know how to describe this, but you can tell every single time a joke is about to be delivered, and you can almost always tell exactly what the joke is going to be before they actually deliver it. I often say I don't like comedy movies, but perhaps I was wrong. I really don't like comedy movies, at least when the comedy is so predictable. So yes, I hated this movie. It's obviously a 1 out of 5. But there's something else this movie made me think about. Polite Society feels like it would have been a fantastic movie if it was made by one of my friends. And no, I don't mean a friend of mine could have made a better movie or anything like that. I mean that if the movie was exactly the same, but the context was that it was a really high-budget school project that a friend of mine made, perhaps where I was friends with the actors or something, I could certainly imagine myself finding this type of comedy funny, because the creative vision behind it would be more personal to me. But alas, this isn't the case. Polite Society, in its actual context, is a 1 out of 5. Next we have This Is England, a movie that follows a young British boy who's groomed by a group of skinheads. I had very little expectations going into this movie, and it ended up blowing me away. It was a really great movie. Generally speaking, it starts off feeling a bit aimless, but midway through you start to see where it's going, leading to an eventual fantastic climactic scene that is a tragic depiction of the motivations of a person who has fallen into an ideology of white supremacy. The movie has two grand appeals: its realistic feeling portrayal of how a child could fall in with a bad group of people, and its subversive depiction of a hateful, unstable, violent villain as a sympathetic, tragic character. I want to keep this as spoiler-free as possible, so I think I'll just leave it there. This Is England had some fantastic moments, a bunch of great characters, and some really good acting. It doesn't quite stick out to me as one of the best things I've ever seen, but I would absolutely recommend this movie. It's a very solid 4 out of 5. Now before I wrap up this tiny September digest, I should say that I also watched around an hour of the movie Akira. For the most part, it was visually interesting, but I had absolutely no connection to the story or characters at all, and found myself incredibly bored and struggling to pay attention to it, so I just decided to drop it. I'm sure one day I'll give it another try, but for now it's on my dropped list. And that's this month's digest. If you're interested in more in-depth discussions for these pieces of media, check the links in the description for their individual videos. As for next month, I spun the selection wheel last stream to choose from some of your suggestions made at EliteAri.com, so make sure you subscribe to Elite Ari and check out the website. The winner for this month was Yuri Happy Go Lily.